All right, and we are, and today we have two guests. We have Adam Moore and Ram Elkins. These guys are set to meet on March 22nd at Parkersburg in a heavyweight boxing contest. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
So, Adam, you've fought here twice now. Ram, you've been here once. This is a fight I've been wanting to match up for a bit. I think we talked about it in the past, but we weren't able to line things up. Ram's
Yeah,
been
we
fighting
talked about
all
doing
over
a
the place.
kickboxing match. I think what we talked about doing before.
Yeah.
Just didn't line up.
Kickboxing, MMA, whatever. Yeah. But we're gonna get it now. It's gonna be a good match. Good match for you guys, good fight for the fans, and looking forward to it. So Adam, tell the people a little bit about your experience. I believe you've boxed before, and you fought one kickboxing and one boxing. I believe you've had a few other maybe tough men outside of that.
Well, I started self training probably a year and a half ago. I got into a gym, I guess, about a year ago. I stayed in the gym for about 5 weeks, and I went for a kickboxing match. And it didn't really. I hurt myself early in the match, so it didn't get to go like I wanted to. But then when I went out and I boxed, and I actually went all 3 rounds, I kind of went back to the gym and knew what I needed to work on, my footwork. And instead of sparring with 10-minute rounds, he upped it to 3. So, just trying to get my cardio in better shape and figure out what I need to work on and where my mess ups are.
You got working with Larry Barker, you got Tevin Bonner, and some good guys there in the gym with you. Um, tell us a little bit about your gym for those who don't know.
Well, it's probably one of the best gyms I've ever been into with actually care and he's trying to work stuff so we can actually muscle memory. It makes us do it over and over and over until we finally get where we're going. But yeah, we got a great coach. We got great sparring partners. So I mean, I couldn't ask for a better gym.
Yeah, Larry's good people, man. And Tevin, your teammate Tevin. I don't know a lot of the other guys there, but I know Larry. I know Tevin. Tevin came out and had a great performance at our August show when he fought Hunter Blue. Everybody thought that was a pro fight. They didn't realize it was like two guys that are really just getting into it. And a lot of people were coming to me like, "Hey man, that first professional fight of the night was really good." I'm like, "Which one?" And then they told me that one. I was like, "Yeah, those aren't professional. They look like it, but they're not professionals." But yeah, Tavin's legit, man. And then Hunter, same thing. Those are two of the best up and coming boxers in the region. So that was a really good fight to see. I hated that either guy to lose that, because they were both so good. And yeah, so you fought the same night. You fought Ryan Hall that night, right?
Yeah.
Ryan is, I believe he's up to 4-0 boxing. So he started with us here in MMA back in 2019. He was still in high school. He was a young guy. He wasn't very successful in MMA. Didn't really have a ground game, but man, boxing, he's really putting that. He's really doing a good job in boxing. Hoping to get him back out here soon. But you gave him a fight. I believe he, outside of his couple big overhand lefts, like it was really, really close. So
Yeah, I really worked on that because I was like southpaw. I never really had much, experience with that. Kevin, he really worked with me because he can box southpaw and orthodox. So,
yeah,
that was something good. Yeah.
Ram, I'll go to your fight. You fought the same night. You fought
Yeah.
a dude named Adam Thompson.
Yeah.
And came out looking like it's going to be a pretty good fight. And then dude about had a heart attack like 30 seconds in.
Yeah, man. I came out through that jab, and I knew he was gonna start throwing like hooks and overhands. I knew he was gonna try to brawl with me right off the bat. I sized that up, and so my plan was just like kind of clinch up and gas him out a little bit, get him worn down, get him tired, and then the second round, I was like, I can just throw. Like I'm not gonna have to worry too much about him. Throw much, he'll be tired by then. He didn't make it through the first round, so I didn't even get there. So I was just like, Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it
He's like,
was. It
man,
was a
I'm
weird
just getting
thing because
warmed
it was
up.
a good win, but at the same time, it was like a disappointment in a little way. So when I fought
Yeah.
E-Step this last weekend, well, between then, with like 2 weeks' notice, I took a title shot against Paul Westfall, who's he's a
Yeah.
pretty
He's really
powerful
good.
hitter, knockout artist out of Sam's gym. I mean, he's won all of his fights so far by knockout, and he rocked me pretty good. And I went down for the 8 count to get some air, and I went to stand back up, on 7. As I stood up, when he said 7, I stood up, and as I stood up, he called 8 and called it. Here's what it is. Taking a title shot 2 weeks' notice. I'd been training for that MMA fight at the time, so it was like, it is what it is. But I fought E-Step, and my plan with E-Step was like, I'm just going to go the distance. Like, I didn't really want to finish it off, which I should have probably went and finished off the way it ended up for me, but I wanted to go the distance, and so we went the distance with the fight, and then the judges' scorecards came back, and I've had a lot of people message me and say they thought I won, but the judges determined one way, so that's the way it goes, Don't have a lot of choice on that.
That was a really weird fight. That was
It
a
was
really
super
weird
weird.
one. I was watching it live on pay-per-view, and yeah, he would didn't really give you much of a chance to counter, but he wasn't really hitting you either. He would come in and like throw half of a punch, and before he even would like get the punch to you, he was jumping away
I had
to
him on his back foot the whole
because he was
time.
scared of your counter shots.
Yeah, I had him on the
He
back
was
foot.
on the ground
After that
like
first
10
hit,
times in the fight.
after that first hit when he went down, and I hit him again when he went down on the ground, which, my bad. But after that, he kept backing away from me. That's why I thought I was winning. Is I was trolling the ring, even though he would hook my hands,
Yeah.
and or clinch up with me every time. But even and then I seemed like I was winning the clinch exchanges a little more. I don't know how I lost that fight, but they see what they see and it's what they get. So, but they said I lost it. So.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. Yeah.
He
We
made.
were talking about
I'm
it
not
live.
talking. I love James. James is hilarious. I know, like, he kind of messed you over whenever you took that fight with Tucker, but he's a real funny dude. At one point,
Yeah.
through like an overhand, completely missed me, but like when I ducked it, instead of like finishing the punch, he just froze over my back and like hung on me. And then he made a Superman noise when he did it. He went, like when he did it. And I was like, did he just make a fucking Superman noise in the middle of this fight? Like, what is this dude doing? He is so goofy. I get why the Rough and Rowdy and them like him. He's entertaining, but he is so goofy and awkward to box. Like, you're trying to box with him, and he's over here making Superman noises. And yeah, it was funny. But I thought I won, but then they said I lost. I was like, okay, I get that,
We were to be honest, we're watching the pay-per-view together. We were in a group chat while we were watching online, and we all going into the decision. We're like, yeah, Raymond took that, and then the judges went the other direction. We were like, oh, I don't know what they were watching, but that was weird.
And I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses, but like if the fight was 3 weeks earlier, I wouldn't have even got tired because like 3 weeks earlier, my conditioning was up a lot better. I gained 15 pounds in between the time, like, cause I had some breathing issues, and then my son was sick and I was in the hospital with him. So like, just kind of all that stuff went on at the same time. I kind of got out of the gym for a little bit. So I had almost a whole month out of the gym without trained for the month. I went in one day that month, and they came in and fought him. And I was like, I should have won that one single-handedly. So I was like, hey, he's agreed he'll rematch me at some point, so I'm down to do it. I want that win back. So.
Yeah, that was, I was a little upset when we were friends, but I got upset with him because he lied to me to get out of the fight. Instead of just, hey, Keith, I have an opportunity to take a title fight. He says, Keith, I broke my ankle and I can't walk. I'm not going to be able to fight till March or April. And then, so he says, I can't fight this weekend. I'm out. I'm like, okay, man, I hate to hear that. Hope you get better. Let's, keep in touch. We're buddies. And then he starts posting about his title fight this weekend.
Yeah.
And then I message him to ask about that, and he blocks me on social media. Then he starts making posts talking about how Tucker Labor is the best promoter there is. So yeah, that was a little weird how he did that to me. So
I get why you're upset about it.
So I was like, yeah, he's not coming back. So
I get it. I understand why you're upset about that. I mean, he told me right after the fight that he rolled his ankle and that his ankle's hurt. He didn't think he was going to fight. Antonio Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I saw him go down when he rolled his ankle, and I was worried that he might not be able to fight the next weekend.
He told me, which is another reason why I didn't want to go in for the kill completely, is because like I knew he had that fight coming up too, but I wasn't trying to be like
Yeah.
You know, you should still fight the fight, but like at the same time, I was also a little bit thinking about you. Like, he's still going to fight this weekend. But I told him, I said, hey, if I knock you out, then I'll just take that fight for you. And I was like, I'll just fight Antonio.
Yeah.
But he
Hey, Antonio's ready, man. He'll fight anybody.
I know he's down. He's down. Like, I don't have a problem with fighting him. It just hasn't lined up for us. You know what I mean? Like, so I had my ceiling fall in and all that issues I had with that. And I had to, get those remodels done. So I couldn't afford to go be fighting in Kentucky at times. Yeah. Managing a family and continuing to do this at my age is, it gets a little rough with the timing. And I've had 4 fights since June, and and I work full time, and I got kids. My kids, compete in sports, and I got a wife and everything to take care of.
Yeah, that was something I was going to ask both of you guys. Both of you guys got into boxing a little later in life. Like me, it was a little opposite. I got into it like right after high school, and I got out of it around 2008, 2009. I was pretty much finished. So I was like still late 20s, and I was just working a lot, trying to take care of some things, and just didn't have time. But I was like, if I can't train 2-3 times a day, like I'm not going to do it. Because I'm not gonna be one of these guys that trains 3 days a week, like 1 time a day, 3 times a week, and try to go pro. It's just not gonna work. But what's it been like? This is gonna be a question for Adam. I'll go with you first. What's it been like? You got into boxing later. I know you had was it a bad car accident? You had some injuries, and then you got into boxing after all of that. What's it been like? Starting this journey when you're I guess in your 30s, what's it been like for you?
Well, actually, in the beginning of my earlier life, I wish I would have started a whole lot earlier, but, I feel better now than I think I ever have. Even when I was younger, I was running around acting stupid and stuff. Now that I kind of grew up and, I feel a whole lot better. I'll work all day and, come straight from work, go to the gym, and go home. It'll be 10, 11 o'clock. And got to get right back up at 4. It does get hard sometimes, but if you want something bad enough, I guess you got to sacrifice and stuff.
Yeah. So you almost cut a knuckle off, right? At work recently? Or you did cut a knuckle?
You can still see it's my finger's completely crooked. They took the stitches out, it opened straight back up, and you can see the bone for probably 3 months.
I knew you were wanting to still fight, but I was like, it's probably not a good idea. So you're probably going to land, like, even if the commission approves you to fight, when they're looking at your hands and stuff, if the doctor's going to see it, first of all, if you get past the doctor, you do get to the point where the inspectors approve you, your glove, you're going to land a punch, and then the blood's going to start coming down your arm during the fight, and then referee's going to catch that and stop it, I would say.
Yeah,
like you were just like weeks removed from cutting half your hand off trying to do a boxing match.
Yeah, I didn't really realize
just too tough
how bad I'd hurt it. I cut through my bone, I even broke it. I cut it so deep, but it didn't really hurt all that bad. That's the thing. I still trained as much as I could, even though I had a cut finger.
Yeah. So, Ram, I'll go to you for the same thing here. What's it been like for you to get into boxing, at this point in your life?
Man, I've been fighting my whole life, honestly. Like, so I've had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. My dad was a bit of a fighter. He was always getting into altercations with people. I just grew up the way I grew up. I was always getting into fights with people. But street fighting and boxing is 2 different things. We used to run backyard boxing, little events, all the time growing up, and I was killing it at those. You know what I mean? And so I signed up, started doing some tough man, rough and rowdies in my early 20s, and I didn't understand the point systems at all. So I didn't get any of. I didn't understand that. Then I ended up getting mouthy with the ref because I had a big chip on my shoulder, and that he stopped my fight, and I yelled at him, and I kind of. That chip on my shoulder still was like, I'm just done. Yeah, I mean, this isn't for me. And then my son was born. So my last fight, I think my son was 3. And so I was like, I'm just done fighting. Like, I'm just going to try to be a normal person in society. And so I did that for many years, you know what I mean? And I finally got to the opportunity where I was able to focus on actually being able to train and go back to boxing. And I just kept talking about it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go outside and do something. And Matt Garrison, I went to his fight. Who was it he fought last year? It was January. It was his first fight back. McBride. Yeah. And I told him, I said, which I knew about McBride when he was boxing before. I knew he had hands on him. But I told Garrison, I said, if you win this fight, your first fight back, we were kind of joking around both being old. And I said, if you win this fight, I said, I'll take a fight. You know what I mean? And I wasn't saying like he wasn't going to win. I was just saying, if you win it, I'm going to put, it's going to motivate me. So if you win, I'll do it. And I was 380 pounds, give or take, at the time. And he won the fight. Slaughter, I think he won. He's killer on the ground. But he won that fight. And so I was like, I guess I got to do this now. So he hit me up and said, hey, Chill Sports is having an event in Greenbrier County. And I said, okay. So I signed up for it. And I didn't really start training for that fight till 4 weeks out. So I lost, I started cutting some weight back, but by the time I agreed to that fight and got there, I lost another 20, 30 pounds from that. But I fought that fight at 344, I think. So I lost
Was that the same guy that Matt just fought?
Yeah.
George?
Yeah. Yeah. So I fought George, and they gave me a second round TKO, but I have a stutter. And I think what it came down to was when he asked me if I was good, I said yeah, and I stuttered on yeah. So he thought I'd had a concussion or something, because I was like, no, I was tired, but I was going to go that third round, but because George didn't have enough power to knock me out. He just doesn't have enough power for that. He knows that. This is not a big surprise for him. And just like even whenever George fought Matt this last fight, he's got good footwork. He's quick. He's fairly accurate with his punches. You know what I mean? So he usually runs the point game up, and that's what he usually does. That's what he's good at when he's fighting those bigger guys. It's not about the power. He's not going to drop any of us, you know what I mean? Anytime soon. That's why Garrison was kind of able to just walk into his punches and then take him out in that one. But
George was doing what he needed to do, but Matt just overwhelmed him. Matt's really good. A lot of people don't really remember, because when Matt was really good at one time before, social media wasn't what it is now. So it was Matt was quietly really good back in the day. And
if social media was a thing back whenever I was doing his backyard boxing and street fights and stuff, if it was a thing, we had the videos of it, I would have went viral. It is guaranteed I would have went viral. Yeah. I mean, I was 260 pounds, and I mean, I'm walking around now. Right now, I'm at 325-ish. I'm trying to, I'm training for this fight, so I'll lose more weight. As I've been taking these fights, I've just been dropping down in weight, and my conditioning's been getting better. My techniques have been getting tighter. I'm understanding the points a lot better now. I'm knowing what I need to do to be able to win these fights if they go the distance, when they go the distance. So that's been the biggest thing for me, is coming in. The average person I fought, I've been fighting 25-year-olds. Finally, it's the second dude I fought that's roughly my age.
Yeah.
Pretty excited to be fighting somebody.
Well, I did my little comeback. I was 39 and fought a guy that was 24.
Yeah.
It didn't go well for him, but it's I know I'm older, out of shape, lost all my punching speed, my punching power, but I'm still smart, I guess. I still know what I'm doing, and it fight a little weird. I'm not a clean boxer. Fight a little weird. Yeah, it's that's one thing we got on those younger guys. We can think a little more clear. But
I don't think I lost power in my time off, because I was lifting. You know what I mean? So I was basically powerlifting, so I got so big. But I lost speed because I built a lot of mass and muscle, and it started dragging my punches out a little bit. So I lost quite a bit of speed. I'm kind of getting my speed back a little bit now, so I'm kind of feeling a little better, a little confident about that. Adam, how tall are you?
I'm 6'3". My biggest thing was my balance. When I got older, didn't realize how off balance I was, so I had to go back to the gym and work on my balance, because I couldn't believe how off balance I was.
He got a couple inches. My guard's got to stay high with him, because when I'm fighting a shorter guy, I kind of keep my guard a little more loose. Oh, yeah. When you get a guy taller, it's going to come right down over my guard.
Yeah. Those punches have been coming from here. Adam's coming.
Yeah. Fighting taller guys is a little different, though. I mean, but He's
Yeah.
6'3", so he's riding the range for an overhand. So like I'm pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad's 6'3", so I'm 6'1", like right on the dot.
Yeah. So Adam, I'm sure you've seen a few of Ram's fights. What do you think about his style? What do you think about the matchup?
I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm actually probably going to try to use the distance and try to stay long and actually box. That's my thing. I've really worked my ass off, and I've came a long way since my last fight, but there's still a whole lot of improvement. So I'm just going to go out there and give it what I got.
7 months. It's going to be 7 months between those two. Really due to the injuries, because I know you were trying to fight more, but yeah, it's going to be 7 months between those two fights.
The thing is, the reason I've been cramming my fights kind of in and doing all this so actively right now is I'm completely aware that I don't have much more time in this sport, coming in late. And I have a few goals I'm trying to hit before I'm done with this. Yeah, I mean, so trying to get all the dust off, with all these fights.
Dust off, and try to get at
Pay-per-view
least
was a
one
big
pro fight
thing.
before it's over.
Pay-per-view was whenever I started fighting, before we didn't have all that, you know what I mean? So whenever I came back fighting, and I realized like how many people had eyes on the fights. It's not just the crowd, it's not those people. That brought a whole new level of nerves that I wasn't used to either. These guys with cameras on the side of the ring, I wasn't used to all that. Yeah, kind of. When I fought George, man, it was tunnel vision. It was that whole like I didn't even have those nerves when I was doing tough man stuff. Like I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So coming up, this fight is actually where I had my first tough man at there in Parkersburg. So I'm pretty I'm pretty excited to kind of come back full circle right now with this, come back into it.
Yeah. You feel like you're going to be better now than you were then last time you fought Parkersburg?
Yeah. Mainly because I understand the points, I understand the score. That fight went the distance. I stepped back, I shuffled back, and I had a pair of old sneakers on, man, and I ripped my sole of my shoe off, and I fell down. And it wasn't even that I tripped as much as like it literally ripped the sole of my shoe off and tripped me. And he swung and he missed me and like almost fell on top of me in the third round. And I think that's what actually cost me the fight. I think it counted as a knockdown because that was the only time I went down. Other than that, I mean, I parried his punches and I kept coming in on him. He landed a few good shots in the second or third round on me, but it was almost backwards, man. He was 32 years old, and I was like 20, 21.
Yeah.
So it was like it's backwards from how things are now with me coming and being the old dog. And
a lot of these guys now are going pro, man. Back in the day when I was fighting, there wasn't much going on in West Virginia. Ohio was a little different. Kentucky was a little different, but West Virginia, most guys would fight once a year. That would be like when the tough man or rough and rowdy came to their area. So like for me, I didn't even know what Golden Gloves was or USA Boxing. The way I understood it was you had to win 2 tough mans, you can go pro, or win one, then go to the World Tough Man, then go pro, something like that. That's all I knew. I mean, that's what Garrison did too. That's all we knew. MMA was illegal. So I just thought you had to win a tough man, get a pro boxing match, and go to UFC. I had no clue how anything worked. But now you can fight, these guys are fighting 10, 12, 15 times a year. I mean, you'll fight for me Saturday, fight for Chase next Saturday, fight for Tucker the week after, fight for Mike after. And then after me, so you can just fight as much as you want.
Oh yeah, I could have a fight almost every week if I wanted to. I turn down fights right now. So, but I'm trying to. There for a while, I'm trying to do it every month. And like for this one, I messaged Chase and I felt bad about it. I was even going to do that brawl because I'm right there where I'm almost not qualified to do the brawl. And technically not because I put my tough man stuff. There's not on record. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and try to throw my name out there and do it. And I was like, it's 1 minute rounds, whatever, but I want to be able to focus on this fight. If I go in there and one of those 6'5" big boys actually drops me or gives me concussion, and then they put me on a 30 or 60 day suspension for some reason, then I can't fight this fight. It kind of messes us all over a little bit. And I've already agreed to this fight. I want to be able to focus on training for this fight. I want to focus on, like he's doing 3 minute rounds. I've been training 3 minute rounds too. So that's kind of where I'm at with. I've been training 3 minute rounds for a while because I don't want to gas out in 2 minutes, you know what I mean? Like, and I train 5 minute rounds if I really feel like I had the conditioning for it right now. But once I get I try to do as many rounds as I can at 3 minutes. I usually warm up with rounds on the bag, and then I'll go on to sparring. And I try not to hard spar within 3 weeks of my fight coming up in case I get rocked in the sparring session or something. But
that happens, especially if you're sparring with Garrettson. I believe he
did that
rocked.
for me.
He rocked
Yeah.
Elijah Thacker, one of our commentators. I haven't seen it.
I'll show it to you.
Elijah Thacker was sparring Garrettson like 2 or 3 days before he had a fight, and Garrettson like blasted him. And he told me that he's pretty sure Garrettson concussed him, and he just was not the same person that weekend. And when he fought that weekend, dude, he was a mess. He was a mess. Like after the fight, during the fight, like after the fight, he was puking all over the place. Like, oh man, he was blaming it all on Garrettson. He's like, Garrettson gave me a concussion 3 days ago.
He's known for that, man. He's known for that. I love him to death, but he's definitely known for that. And
he's good, man.
He called me with a
know. He's just got.
Him being a southpaw.
He got so much power.
He's a southpaw, and we kind of switched. We were joking around because I can switch a little bit, so I switched and then switched back, and he switched back over to southpaw. And I thought he kept throwing this lead uppercut, so I thought he was going to throw the lead uppercut. So I was going to hook his lead uppercut and then throw my right was my plan. So, but about the third time, he didn't throw the lead uppercut. He threw a hook. So whenever he threw it, I dropped my hand and I went like this, and he caught me with that left. And I took a knee. I was like, oh, and I went down. He said, put me on my ass. I'll show you the video. I definitely went down on my knee and then got back up. I wasn't on my ass, but he said it was. He rocked me, man. And that was that was up at Browning's. What was it, 2 or 3 weeks before Fall George? And I just got back into boxing too, so I was green. Like I hadn't even thrown hands with anybody in years. So
you're there to train, just get ranked right off the bat.
I went up boxing with the pros. Like Garrison's like, hey, they're doing this professional boxing thing. You want to come up and do it? And I was like, hell yeah. So like, he was like me and Bobby Freshness, Tom Lafferty, Alex Davis was up there that day. Yeah, it's fun.
Sean's good. Sean's very, very good.
Sean is. I talked to him about this. I said because I sparred with him, you would think I was winning for the first part of the round, and then he'd start picking me apart. And that's kind of how he does. Like if he gets an opponent, he'll come in and he's good at figuring out where their weaknesses, where their openings are, and then just picking them apart. And if you watch his fights, you'll see that the first part of the fight, it might take a few hits, and he always looks tired, so you never know if he's actually tired. And then he comes in and he'll pick you apart. And I was like, I like that. He's kind of like that.
I've heard he's a pretty good sparring partner. I can come down on your level and fight with you instead of he could really just beat the piss out of anybody around.
He did 16 rounds that day.
But
yeah. And I did like I did 2 rounds with him.
16 more.
I did 4 rounds that day. He did 16 rounds.
Yeah.
So and I stopped when Garrison hit me.
Like, come on, Garrison, man, go try to
hurt me. They made
me
me stop, actually. I got in with Boggs after that, and then Boggs threw a jab, and I was like, yeah, I think Garrison hit me harder than I thought he did.
Just didn't have it, your brain's mush going into the round.
He just caught me with a jab, and like my reaction speed was down, and he caught me like right in the forehead with it, and I was like, yeah, we're going to run this back later, Brandon, but right now I got to step out, because they were like, yeah, he hit you too hard.
Yeah. Come on,
but
Sean,
he's been known for that. He's like Garrison's been known for that for a while. He said he pulls the punch, but I don't think he does. I don't think he knows how to.
He's got so much power. He might be pulling it back. I mean, he might be giving you 50%, but his 50% is like 900%. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, there might come a day whenever we actually have to go against each other, being our ages, and if I go pro, by the time he's out, there might be a day where we end up going against each other. I'd favor him in it right now if I was betting,
It's hard to bet against
He's got a lot of power, for sure.
If Matt shows up in shape, it's hard to bet against Matt.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's smooth, and he's always one punch away from ending a fight. So even if you're beating him 3.5 rounds, he just takes one from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Guess we're over 30 minutes. I'm gonna ask you guys one more thing here. Adam, where do you see yourself? We're going into 2025. Where do you see yourself by the end of 2025?
Well, I guess I'm just gonna take it one day at a time. But I want to get as many boxing matches in amateur so I can learn, you know. And if I do go pro, it's I want to do it the right way. I don't want to, you know, kill myself working all day, you know. So if I can't do it the right way, you know, I don't know if I would go pro. You know, I think it's fun. I do. I like to do it for fun, to be honest. You know, I guess I just gotta see how everything plays out, I guess.
All right, Ram, same thing for you, man. Where do you see yourself the end of 2025?
I'm going to be pro by the end of 2025. I mean, I haven't made any official announcements or anything, but yeah, I got a plan. I got a rough date, a rough amount of fights I want to get in before then, and a condition I want to be in by that time. I'm going to be pro by then. Yeah. I ain't got enough time to wait around another year and a half, and then be like, oh, I'm going to go pro at 40. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm 37 in May. I'll be 38.
Now or never.
So, yeah, so it's kind of, I got a short period of time.
The top level fighters are going pro at 17, 18, and they're 20-0 by the time they're 22 years old.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to be
a
world championship boxer. You know, I know that already. I've let that slide through my fingers when I was younger. I mean, I might have had a chance in my 20s if I had a good trainer, a good gym, but those are all things from the past, you know, that you can't really dwell on. Like, you can look at the future, and I'm going to go pro by then. I'd love to do a BKFC fight at some point in my pro career before I'm done. I like, you know, maybe do a few. The Dirty Boxing Championship, man, that stuff looks so fun. That's right up my alley, obviously, my last fight. So, I'd love to get into some of that before I'm done and for the next couple of years. But by the end of 2025, I'm going to be pro. That's where it's at.
Do you have to be pro to do bare knuckle? Is that you do?
Well, I believe that's it for me, guys. Any last words for each other before we square off? Wait, we got some time. We get almost 3 months. Anything else you guys want to say before we call it?
Good luck, buddy, man. I'll continue training. You continue training. Let's give them a show.
Same to you, man.
All right, everybody. These guys will be meeting March 22nd, Parkersburg High School, Parkersburg, West Virginia. This is a co-promotion with New Line Cagefighting and Doghouse Promotions. Fieldhouse Cage Fights / NLC 33. All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys for coming on.
I'll give a shout out to Mike Shepard and my boys there at Doghouse Gym, and Matthew Denning. He's always in there grinding, coming up for his fight. He's always willing to train with us. Doesn't matter if even though he's smaller than us, he's training us the big guys. So big shout out to them, and always keep me on my toes, give me pointers, and point out my flaws, because I don't always see everything. You know, they point them out to me, and some things I just keep messing up, and they just keep bringing back up to me. So they keep pointing them out so I can continue to better myself. So thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching, everybody, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Problem.